Welcome to Madison City Channel's Know Your Candidates interviews, co-sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Dane County. I'm your interviewer, Heidi Wegleitner, and I would like to introduce Heidi Wegleitner, running for Dane County Board Supervisor for District 2. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Eve.
As we begin, please give an opening statement about the educational, vocational, and civic experience which prepares you for this office, and why are you running for Dane County Board?
Thank you. So I have dedicated my career as a poverty lawyer, as a union leader, and as an elected official over the last almost 14 years to fighting for people harmed by an unfair and racist system. I believe my experience is essential at this time in our history with the attacks on marginalized communities from the Trump administration to the financial challenges we have here locally. I bring my experience as a lawyer, as a committee chair of the Health and Human Needs Committee, and as a mom and an engaged East Side resident of Madison for the last 20 years.
Well, how should the county address the significant budget deficit that's expected for your 2027 budget?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think we need to be proactive. We need to listen to all the people impacted by the county budget. That means county workers, that means county managers, that means our nonprofit partners in the community who have ideas for saving money and creating efficiencies. So I think I'm really focused on a process that is transparent and that's inclusive, because that is critical to dealing with a really tough challenge like this. So, in the Health and Human Needs Committee that I chair, we've already started talking about the 2027 budget, and I know other committee chairs are doing that as well. We want to hear from the department what is their process looking like? What efficiencies are they looking for? So I think we have to collaborate more than ever and be as open and as inclusive as possible as we head into this budget season.
Well, what specific ideas do you have to increase the supply and quality of affordable housing and to preserve existing affordable housing?
Well, we have some great programs that we need to continue to support and grow. So, I was a leader in the creation of the Affordable Housing Development Fund in the 2015 budget. That started at $2 million. The last 2 years, it's been funded at $20 million. So we have created, thousands of new affordable housing units through that fund, and we need to continue to do that. But now we're also investing in affordable housing preservation, so maintaining affordability long-term or permanently, and investing in home ownership, like our partnership with Habitat for Humanity and the Madison Area Community Land Trust. So we need lots of different strategies. We funded the tiny house villages with Occupy Madison, which is a very creative, innovative model and lower cost model. So I think we need to continue to do what works and grow what works and lower barriers to housing access. One thing I'm going to focus on in my next term will be to create a land banking program for the county. We don't have one yet. I'd like to see us have the authority, the budget to be able to acquire land in high opportunity areas so that we can drive development and take it off of the private market where any speculator or developer will decide how to use it. If we can have a land banking program to control more of that development in those areas, I think that would be really effective as well.
Well, what more, if anything, do you think the county needs to do to address the needs of our neighbors experiencing homelessness?
Well, that's definitely always front and center in my mind, and I have for almost 20 years of people who are currently experiencing homelessness or facing imminent homelessness. And so that has been a priority for me. We need to figure out lawful places for people to be who can't or won't use shelter. We were able to get funding for the new shelter that opens up, but that's not going to be big enough. We're serving right now in shelter almost 400 people at the men's shelter. The new shelter is only going to have 250 beds, even on the coldest of nights. So I was able to work with my colleagues to get funding for an overflow shelter, emergency overflow shelter for next winter. We have to get that up and running, but that's just bare minimum survival. We also need to increase the units available to people so they can get into permanent housing programs. So that means, we've set standards for 20% of all of our affordable housing projects. 20% of those units need to be set aside for people experiencing homelessness. We need to do more of that. And we need to create legal options for people who can't get into shelter. There's no lawful camping space or any place for somebody just to carry out their basic needs to sleep, to live, to exist.
So when faced with making difficult, sometimes controversial decisions, how do you ensure you're getting input from residents with a broad range of perspectives?
That's a really good question. I'm lucky to have developed a number of relationships over my time in county government. I think it's really important to hear from a lot of different folks. So I make sure when we're dealing with human services issues that I am reaching out to the people who are, either county staffers or the folks on the ground, delivering those services, as well as managers who oversee those programs. We also need to hear from the people who are using those services, right? And I think trying to lower barriers to participation in county government, provide more opportunities for public comment. I've been successful at changing some of those rules to make it easier for people to give more comment to the county board and connect people to opportunities to serve on a county committee. So it's a lot of different ways, and it's also working with our county board office, which has done more to create tools to make county processes more accessible, easier to understand. Our Human Services Department as well has a whole new communications office that works on language access, that works on getting out information on social media, but also through other means, word of mouth, and through community sort of builders, navigators, brokers.
Mm-hmm. So describe any other priorities for your term in office. If this includes new or expanded programs, how do you propose to fund them?
That's a great question. So one thing I'm really interested in working on right now is decreasing the time that people wait to get into one of our most popular and growing behavioral health service programs, the Comprehensive Community Services Program. And what's so great about this program is that it's self-directed. The participants get to decide what services they want from a 13 different types of services that they can work on. And they just need to be Medicaid eligible and have a mental health or substance use need and pass that screen. But then it's fully reimbursable by federal and state Medicaid benefit. So if we can lower those barriers to participation and get people through intake and screening much faster, people can get the services they need, and it's not going to cost the county more money. So that's something I'm working on first quarter of 2026.
Okay, what would you like to say to the viewing audience as we complete this interview?
It's really been an honor to serve District 2 since 2012. The district is so engaged, so caring, and there's so many people that care deeply about the residents of Dane County. And I've learned in my almost 14 years in office how I can be an effective advocate and leader. And when we are dealing with these really challenging times, I hope to continue in that capacity to help our vulnerable residents. And if you're looking for more information about me, you can go to my website at friendsofheidi.org.
Well, I want to thank Heidi Wegleitner for speaking with us and and thank the viewing audience for taking the time to know your candidates. I want to remind everyone that the primary election is Tuesday, February 17, and the general election is Tuesday, April 7. Every election is important. Please vote. On behalf of Madison City Channel and the League of Women Voters of Dane County, I thank you for joining us.